criticism of the practice was not fair.
Talking about under 18, we are not talking about 65 years old. We are talking about mainly our 70 years old big boys, and that court recognized the maturity, brain maturity. It's like 96% means out of 100, 96% with the help of the High Council and others, everybody, individuals, singers, filmmakers, we're trying to convince the victim family to part.
The United Nations and human rights groups frequently criticize Iran for executing child offenders, which violates the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child that Tehran has ratified. UN Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet last week pointed to Iran's widespread use of the death penalty and said that over 80 child offenders are on death row, with at least 4 at risk of imminent execution. Tafreshi, the Council's deputy head of international affairs, rejected international criticism. He said the Council's broad goal is minimizing the number of executions as much as possible, calling it an effort for which nobody applauds Iran. According to the UN, Iran last year executed at least 4 people found guilty of murders committed when they were minors. For today's COVID-related news, in North Korea, state media report leader Kim Jong-un replaces several senior officials after a crucial coronavirus incident, potentially signaling a breach in the country's epidemic defenses. Pyongyang closed its borders in January last year to try to protect itself against the virus that first emerged in neighboring China. It has not publicly confirmed any cases of the disease at any point, either in state media or in the test statistics it has disclosed to the World Health Organization. But analysts say the latest development was a clear indication there had been infections in the isolated north, which is under international sanctions for its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs. According to the State Korean Central News Agency, Kim tells a Politburo meeting that officials had neglected their duties and caused a crucial incident, creating a great crisis in ensuring the security of the state and safety of the people, and entailed grave consequences. It did not specify any details of what had happened, but Kim adds that cadres' lack of ability and irresponsibility had hindered important work, accusing them of self-protectionism and passiveness. Footage on state broadcaster KCTV shows a stream of officials entering the Central Committee building and Kim pointing angrily as he addressed the meeting Tuesday. His sister and key advisor Kim Yo-jong was also among the speakers. The impoverished country's ramshackle health system and lack of medical supplies would leave it struggling to cope with a major COVID-19 outbreak. Toronto sets a world record for its vaccine day held during the weekend. To tell us more about the historic event, Eagle News correspondent Cherry Recolizado reports.
This past weekend, Toronto sets a new world record for the largest single-day COVID-19 vaccination clinic with over 25,000 vaccine doses administered in one venue. This record-breaking event took place at Scotiabank Arena in the heart of downtown Toronto on Sunday, June 27. The city partnered up with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, MLSE, and Scotiabank to transform the 665,000 square feet sports arena into a mass vaccination site. Initially announced on June 21st, city officials were hoping to vaccinate at least 10,000 Toronto residents to break the record for the largest single-day clinic vaccinations in Ontario. As of June 22nd, more than 10,000 Torontonians have booked their appointments for the said event. Due to this exceeding demand, the city opened up additional vaccine appointments to accommodate more people on Toronto Vaccine Day. In line with this campaign, major public transits Metrolinx and Toronto Transit Commission, TTC, provided free rides, to and from Toronto Union Station and Scotiabank Arena vaccine site. A total of 1,500 staff and volunteers from 30 different organizations welcomed Toronto residents at the venue as early as 7 in the morning. Led by clinic organizers, University Health Network, and Michael Garron Hospital, vaccinators administered primarily Moderna vaccine doses. As of 9:53 p.m. on June 27, public health officials have announced that a total of 26,771 doses were administered on Toronto Vaccine Day, surpassing the North American single-day clinic record of more than 17,000 doses set at the Texas Motor Speedway in April. In Toronto, Cherry Recolisado, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
For today's COVID-19 numbers, according to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, June 30th, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now over 181,908,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases: U.S. has more than 33.6 million, India has more than 30.3 million, Brazil with more than 18.5 million. This virus has now claimed more than 3,940,000 lives worldwide. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths: US has over 604,000, Brazil with over 515,000, India over 398,000. Total vaccine doses administered worldwide are now at 3,034,552,000. In other news, rising seas threaten the high-rise studded coastline of South Florida, but a professor who researches the white sand beaches said it is unlikely climate change alone was behind the collapse of an oceanfront apartment block last week. Officials have few answers for what caused most of the 12-story building in Surfside, Florida, to pancake in the middle of the night last week, killing 12 people and leaving 149 unaccounted for. Determining what went wrong is expected to require a lengthy investigation. The tragedy came as cities in the Miami area are already experiencing the effects of higher tides and announcing expensive efforts to mitigate them. But Stephen Leatherman, a Florida International University professor who specializes in beaches, says there's no evidence yet the phenomenon played a role in the collapse. Leatherman says he doubts it was an issue in this case and that a lack of reinforcement in the building's construction or perhaps water damage that ultimately compromised its foundations are more likely culprits.
All these wonderful things about living on the coast, but of course, big thing they worry about here are hurricanes, beach erosion, flooding, all those issues. But the collapse of a building is new. We haven't ever seen this before, particularly a high-rise building, 12-story building. So it's a surprise to everyone, frankly.
How would you go about?
So building on the coast, one of the things you have to deal with, of course, beyond the things I mentioned, dealing with erosion and storm surge flooding, is that you're building on sand. Miami is built on limestone. We live on limestone. But here it was built on sand. Now one of the big question marks is, was it built on the sand or were footers put in?
Just how much energy has been conserved by Panama by switching to biogas in the past 4 years? Eagle News correspondent May Davila has the report.
Did you know that in Panama, electricity is produced through garbage? Since 2017, with a view to establishing new electricity generation systems, a project has been carried out at the Cerro Patacon landfill that produces electricity using biogas, particularly methane gas from municipal solid waste. According According to data from the National Dispatch Center of the Electricity Transmission Company in 2020, 29.8 gigawatt hours were generated from biogas from the Cerro Patacon landfill, which is roughly equivalent to annual consumption of more than 10,000 homes. The technology of this project, 1 year after its implementation and according to the greenhouse gas inventories of 2017, managed to reduce 1.5 kilotons of CH4 methane. This is equivalent to 43.5 kilotons of carbon dioxide that would have been attributed to solid waste disposal. This represents 1,495,670 incandescent lamps switched to LEDs, or charging 4,800,327,127 cell phones. This type of generation works by means of a thermal plant that has gas engines, which operates with the methane generated by the garbage after being processed and converted into biogas. It is a thermal plant that, instead of importing fuel from other countries, takes advantage of what is produced from waste. With initiatives like this, the country is at the forefront with other nations in the region, such as El Salvador and Guatemala, where they have power generation plants from waste. The type of waste, the time elapsed since its disposal, the volume, the humidity, and the temperature conditions are some of the characteristics that must be taken into account to carry out a project like this. These are some of the reasons why there is only one project of this type in the country, but it is not ruled out that a similar one could be executed in the future. The energy generated in this project is injected into the grid and used by all clients of the National Interconnected System, generating a benefit because the country is producing clean energy. In environmental matters, this initiative is vital in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which contributes to the fact that Panama remains in a negative carbon position. At the same time, it reduces the consumption of fossil fuels, which are so harmful to the environment and human health. Currently, it is 25 degrees Celsius here in Ciudad de Panama. May Davila, Eagle News. Vivimos en tiempos interesantes.
Up next, updates from Alberta, Canada, and New Jersey. Eagle News America will return in a moment. Stay with us.
Start up your weekday mornings with edutainment, news, and information kasama ang inyong paboritong Net25 shows. Samahan ang inyong paboritong morning barkada sa Pambansang Almusal at 5 a.m. Tatalakayin mga pangunahing balita sa pagtutulungan ng Radyo Agila at Net25. Samahan si Weng de la Fuente sa Balitalakayan, 7 a.m. Saganang Mamamayan at 8 a.m. NHK World at 9 a.m. Eagle News International at 10 a.m. At mga balitang dapat niyong malaman mula sa Agila, Pilipinas at 11 a.m. This is your morning startup every weekday mornings only here on Net25.
The discovery of unmarked graves of children in 2 former Indian residential schools and incidents of violence against racialized communities have prompted officials to call for empathy, understanding, and humility among all Canadians. To tell us more about this year's not too cheerful celebrations, Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness joins us tonight. Thomas.
Thanks, Ace. Well, we're on the eve of Canada's 154th birthday, and Canadians are approaching tomorrow's Canada Day celebrations with mixed feelings. As we reported at the beginning of the week, there are a growing number of people who say the celebration should be canceled altogether this year. And this, of course, follows the discovery last month of nearly 1,000 unmarked graves on the sites of 3 former residential schools, and actually news of nearly 200 graves being found at a third site came this afternoon. The schools were mostly operated by the Catholic Church. They were set up in the 1800s to assimilate Native children into Canadian, Caucasian culture. Indigenous leaders say their people just don't feel a part of Canada. They say instead of celebrating Canada Day, people should reflect upon the atrocities inflicted upon the country's Indigenous people. Others plan events which highlight Indigenous culture. They say they're gathering to mourn rather than to celebrate. Several communities have either dropped their usual celebrations or scaled them back. In Calgary, a large city to the south of me, here is about 2.5 hours south of Edmonton. The city's skyline will be tinted orange as a way to honor victims of the residential school system. Even Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called on people this year reflect on how the country can be made better for Indigenous Canadians. In the nation's capital, Canada Day will not feature the big events and gatherings of the past for a second year in a row. The pandemic has hijacked celebrations there. There's limits on crowds outdoors, and that province just hasn't opened up at all yet. But elsewhere in the country, many will be celebrating the lifting of COVID restrictions. Many places, these restrictions will come off tomorrow. In my province, Alberta, virtually all of the restrictions will be gone at midnight tonight. There are those who say the parties and the hoopla should go ahead, that they're not responsible for what happened generations ago. But, responsible or not, we can't ignore the effects of the actions that took place in that dark period of Canadian history. And perhaps that should be what Canadians should do this Canada Day, is reflect upon that. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Ideally, I would greet you a happy Canada Day, but with that sad news.
It is really with mixed feelings this year, Ace. It certainly is.
Well, hopefully there will be celebrations that would lift up the morale of the people. What are the Canada Day celebrations going to be like in your city?
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot lower key than pre-pandemic. We're dealing with the heat, of course, here, as well as the fallout from the discovery of more unmarked graves at former residential schools. In Edmonton, the heat's going to put a damper more than anything on the celebrations. We're in the middle of that heat wave. Temperatures tomorrow expected to reach almost 100 degrees, 99 degrees. It was 101 degrees here today in my part of the city. Not a lot of scheduled activities tomorrow. Interestingly, the Chinese community has planned a number of cultural exhibitions as part of its Canada Day celebrations in Chinatown. And then, of course, 11 o'clock tomorrow night, there will be fireworks set off, and the show will be choreographed to music from the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. But certainly, Canada Day will be subdued, both because of the weather and the events of the past few weeks. Ace?
So it's aside from the subdued celebrations, it's a gray weather in your area. How long is
usually when we report weather stories from Canada, it's in the middle of winter, and when we talk about minus 30 or minus 35, we're on the other side of the freezing point. Here we're talking about plus 30, plus 35, plus 40 in some places. We're just in the midst of that heat wave, and people keep saying, how long is it going to last? It's really too much of a good thing, but things should ease up by Sunday. Tomorrow we have another hot day. Like you said, it's going to be up around that 100-degree mark. But by Sunday, we should be down into the mid-20s. That would be in Fahrenheit language, around 75, 77 degrees in around there. And this is good news. By Sunday, there should be some much needed rain as well. Power consumption in the city is at record levels. People are being told to cut back on electricity use, particularly over the supper hour. So far, we've been fortunate. There are no rolling blackouts, so that's why we can broadcast here with you. We don't have a backup generator here just yet. But one other thing this heat has caused is a lot of visits by people to the emergency room. There is that health danger, the problem of heat stroke, and as well, it's created some tinder dry conditions in our forests and increased the risk of wildfires. So all in all, I think we've got a little bit too much of a good thing up here, Ace.
Well, I say you, Thomas, you stay inside and stay hydrated and be safe. All right?
Well, actually, that's what we're doing. And luckily, even though we don't have air conditioning, we do have a basement. And that's actually quite cool down here. Thanks again, Ace.
All right. A couple of days and a couple of days with sacrifice. And on Sunday, it's going to get better. All right. Be safe, Thomas. In New Jersey, the Special Needs Housing Trust Fund will be provided $20 million to support individuals living with special needs in the state. In Sicklerville, EBC's May Ann Manzano-Garzon tells us more.
Thank you, Ace. Governor Phil Murphy signed legislation which creates a $20 million transfer to the Special Needs Housing Trust Fund in the Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, or HMFA. The Special Needs Housing Trust Fund provides capital financing to create supportive housing and community residences for individuals living with special needs. According to the governor, with this bill now being law, the Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency can immediately begin developing plans for this crucial housing need. The primary sponsors of the bill are Senators Troy Singleton and Nellie Poo, and Assembly members Benji Wimberly, Verlina Reynolds Jackson, and Cleopatra Tucker. The bill creates a transfer of $20 million from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which has recently seen a significant increase due to the high volume of real estate sales, to the Special Needs Housing Trust Fund. The funding will be used to provide support for housing projects that benefit those living with special needs. And for New Jersey's latest COVID-19 numbers, the Department of Health has reported another 223 new positive cases today, bringing our statewide total to 892,983. Positivity rate is 1.49% and rate of transmission is 0.95. Sadly, we are also reporting 8 new confirmed deaths, pushing the total to 23,754 COVID fatalities. But on the brighter side, the latest total of fully vaccinated individuals in the state is now 4,940,812. To know the latest on New Jersey's vaccination progress, visit covid19.nj.gov/vaccine. And for a quick weather update, it's currently clear here in New Jersey. It was 77 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 degrees Celsius. In Sicklerville, New Jersey, May Ann Manzano-Garzon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you, May Ann. What will this funding do for the disability community of New Jersey?
Well, Ace, there is a very large and diverse disability community here in the state, and this funding will help in the developing of quality, affordable, and accessible housing for them in a safe community, which could be very challenging to find here, Ace, because there's not that many. So this funding will be very helpful. Ace?
Okay. Tell us, what is so special about this kind of housing?
Is for special needs housing, it requires special ramps or special appliances. Sometimes it even have other special equipment, to help the residents, the people with special needs to perform the simple and daily task. And unfortunately, what I mentioned, it's not that many here in New Jersey. So this funding will really be helpful to provide more of these housing of this kind to the disability community of the state. Ace?
So taking care of the special needs of the special needs community.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much, May Ann Manzana Gorzon, Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Thank you, Ace.
When we come back, live reports from Pennsylvania and Ohio, and of course, Washington State. Eagle News America will be right back.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Broadcast journalist Wayne De La Fuente returns on Philippine television and radio to deliver top stories and engage with the country's policymakers, shapers, and movers. Tatalakayin ang mga pangunahing balita live sa teleradyo ng Net25 at Radyo Aguila DCEC 1062. Kasama si Wayne De La Fuente sa Balitalakayan.
Ako si Wayne De La Fuente at itong Balitalakayan, we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. In celebration of Pennsylvania Dairy, let's check in with Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan for the scoop on the 4th annual Ice Cream Trail. Myla, spill.
Hi, Ace. So let me start with the weather here in Smartmore. The high today is 96 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius with an excessive heat warning. So it's hot and humid outside. So what's the best way to beat this hot and humid weather? Ice cream. Sprinkled across Pennsylvania are 31 creameries that make up the program called Scooped, an Ice Cream Trail. Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding and Department of Community and Economic Development Deputy Secretary Carrie Fisher-Lepore encouraged Pennsylvanians and tourists to support Pennsylvania's small businesses and dairy farmers with scoops of happiness churned from Pennsylvania Dairy. Take a look.
But I really think about how cool it is to have a trail that, is delicious for sure, but it also gives you a chance to really meet the families, right? And there's many different ways to tell the story of the dairy industry, of agriculture. You can do that through the jobs and the workforce components. You can do it through our conservation efforts. You can talk about how we take raw product and turn it into value, like the milk into ice cream. You can tell this story through partnerships, right? Through our Center for Dairy Excellence and PA Preferred, through the company components, the dairy industry. Just look around, and every single piece of this is represented in the partnership. But the most important way to tell this story is the families, right? The families that are part of the dairy industry in this state, all 6,000 plus of them. You think about how important that is to both the culture of Pennsylvania, but also the business and the community, and on top of that, what they've done the last year to keep us fed and keep us safe.
Originally launched in 2018, the Pennsylvania Ice Cream Trail is a partnership between the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and its Pennsylvania Preferred Program, the Department of Community and Economic Development's Tourism Office, and the Center for Dairy Excellence to support Pennsylvania's more than 5,400 dairy farm families and the small businesses that sourced from them, and offer a unique opportunity to explore the Commonwealth by the Scoop. For 2021, Scoop offers 3 trails, West, South, Central, and East, densely packed with dairy good experiences for ice cream enthusiasts. While this year's trail does not include an official passport for stamps and prize redemption, trail goers can learn about participating creameries virtually at visitpa.com/scoops. and plan their adventure. In Pennsylvania, the dairy industry supports more than 52,000 jobs and contributes about $12.6 billion to the state's economy in both urban and rural areas. Pennsylvania dairy manufacturers lead the nation in the production of many dairy products, including ranking second nationally for ice cream and butter and third in the nation for Swiss cheese. Pennsylvania dairy farms are the backbones of the communities in the state. The ice cream trail is a great way to support these businesses while getting a first-hand look at the care and quality that goes into dairy farming each and every day. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Myla. Okay, so when you talk about trail, I'm imagining like a trail, like you're following a map of ice cream shops or parlors or whatever. Tell us more about this ice cream trail program of Pennsylvania.
That's right. Actually, on the website, you'll see like a map on which dairy creameries are part of this program. So this ice cream trail program, it started in 2018, and this is a joint effort between Department of Agriculture and Tourism here in Pennsylvania, where if you're especially those ice cream enthusiasts, they can visit more than 20 creameries. So this year there are 20 creameries who participate in this program, and they're on different parts of the state. On the initial years of this program, you will be provided with a sort of like a passport, where you can get stamps from the creameries, and you will get a prize when you redeem it. So, but because of the pandemic, they're not doing it right now. No passwords for this year. Ace?
Okay, so it's ice cream galore for the whole. Is this for the whole of Pennsylvania, or only in certain areas?
Only in certain areas where there are creameries on it. Yeah, there's the west, the south, central, and the south, the east. Those are the places where all these creameries are located. Ace?
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor is number one is avocado. Number two is, if I can't find avocado, I'll just make my own ice cream. A cheese also is number two. These are my kids' favorite as well. And number three are those ice cream that's covered with chocolate, and then you crack it open. You crack the chocolate before you eat the inside of it. Usually it's a vanilla covered with the chocolate. So yes, those are my top three ice cream favorites.
Okay. So talking about ice cream flavors, how are the ice cream from the local creamery in Pennsylvania? How are they? Have you tried those the ice cream there?
Yes, actually, on one of the creameries in South Central Pennsylvania, there's a farm, and you can actually see the cows near the ice cream store. So that's why I think you call it cow to cone. That's how you call it, because those ice cream store are within where you can also see within the farm where we can see the cows. So when you eat the ice cream, there's a difference in the texture, and when you compare it to the store-bought ice creams, it actually has a smooth texture and a really creamy taste. That's what I noticed. Although I'm not an ice cream enthusiast like my kids, but I really enjoy those types of ice cream. Ace?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What do you call that? Cow what?
Cow to cone.
Cow to cone. Oh, I see.
Cone, yes.
Cone. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. Enjoy your cow to cone.
Thank you.
With $2.2 billion to invest in Ohio's economic recovery, Governor Mike DeWine signs House Bill 168. Eagle News correspondent Randy Bayuga is with us this evening with the details. Randy.
Thank you, Ace. Governor Mike DeWine did sign the House Bill 168. He applauds the Ohio General Assembly for passing the priority legislation. He says the actions taken over the past year, including cutting the state spending, freezing hiring, and not relying on the rainy day fund, to put Ohio in a position today to use these recovery funds to make forward-looking investments. This bill will invest $2.2 billion in federal aid, the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, to facilitate the economic recovery. The funds will be used to improve the water and sewage infrastructure, pediatric health care, pay off the state's unemployment insurance trust fund loan, and support the recovery of some 2,000 local communities. H2O is also poised to start its projects targeting aging lead pipes at daycare facilities in Cleveland. And the governor also welcomes Amgen, a biotech company building a new facility in New Albany, Ohio, investing some $299 million that will create 400 jobs. And in college sports news, Governor Mike DeWine also signs an order to allow student athletes enrolled in Ohio colleges and universities to earn compensation. This was due to the Supreme Court ruling against the NCAA's rules that limited education-related benefits students can earn. And in the ruling, schools can now provide unlimited compensation as long as it is related to their education. Governor Mike DeWine tweets, naturally, athletes will want to go to colleges in the states where they can earn money and remain eligible to play. Without setting these rules, Ohio college athletic programs would be at a disadvantage. Ohio COVID-19 updates. There are now 47.55% of Ohio's population that are vaccinated. That's 5,570,401 Ohioans who have received at least one shot of the vaccine. And the confirmed number of COVID-19 cases is now up at 1,111,324. And there are now 20,309 confirmed deaths. Of those confirmed cases of COVID-19, 1,083,949 are presumed recovered. It is currently partly cloudy at 22 degrees here in Perrysburg, Ohio, and we are expecting some rain tomorrow morning and a low of 20 degrees. Perrysburg, Ohio, Ronnie Bayuga, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you, Rani. Sounds like Ohio is very busy right now towards its economic recovery. What other ways is Ohio working to aid in its economic recovery?
Well, you know, I've been reporting on this for the last few weeks that they've been doing tech cred, which will upgrade the skills and education of the workforce here in Ohio. And there's Innovate Ohio, other projects including educational programs for college and high school, apprenticeship programs. Additionally, ACE, they also started a program called Vibrant Community Program that will provide grants of up to $2 million for development projects to help transform areas within distressed community. Ace?
How about for businesses, small and large? What specific programs have been released?
They also released 4 grants that are going to help small businesses. There's one for food and beverage establishments. They can receive up to from $10,000 to $30,000. These are for restaurants, coffee shops, and other food and drink businesses. There's also the entertainment venue grant. They can also receive $10,000 to $30,000. These are for theaters, music venues, spectator sport venues, museums, and other entertainment venues. And then there's the lodging grant. Again, $10,000 to $30,000 towards hotels, motels, and bed and breakfast. And then there's lastly, the new small business grant. It's going to be for $10,000 for businesses established between January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Randy Bayuga. With all these programs, I'm pretty sure Ohio will be on its way to economic recovery.
Thank you.
The state of Washington is officially fully reopened. Eagle News correspondent Michael Hudson tells us what this means to residents of one of the COVID-19's initial points of entry in the country.
Thanks so much. So today marks the official day that the state of Washington reopens. This means that all businesses and other establishments are back to 100% capacity. According to Governor Jay Inslee's office spokesperson, Tara Lee, and I quote, "Generally, almost everything is back to normal," and I end quote. As of last Monday, the state of Department of Health reported that 68.2% of individuals over the age of 16 have received their COVID-19 vaccination. At the end of the day, it will be up to the businesses if they still want to have health restrictions in place, such as social distancing or the wearing of masks. But the state itself will no longer enforce those restrictions unless you are not vaccinated, in which the state will still require the wearing of a mask. As of right now, the state of Washington has 453,000 total COVID-19 cases, as well as 5,963 deaths. From Seattle, Michael Hudson, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to the studio.
Up next, tonight's roundtable about National OOTD Day. Eagle News America. We'll be right back.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced. Not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Agila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. This is Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. Okay, we'll talk about for our roundtable today. June 30th is National Outfit of the Day, or National OOTD Day. National OOTD Day gives us an opportunity to express ourselves, our personal style, our own look. Whatever fashion we're into, it's a matter of self-expression. So I like purple. I'm gonna rock my purple. I like red. I'm gonna rock my red. I like pink. You rock your pink. Okay, so tonight we'll ask our team a couple of questions. Let's start with Myla. Okay, let's have fun with this. Myla, one piece of clothing, staple, and why?
Well, it depends on the season. If it's winter time, usually um, sweatpants. Those are the ones I usually wear during winter time. But now that it's summer, I usually wear the skirts. It's a combination of skirt and shorts. I really love those. They're so comfortable. And even on the shoes, right? Usually in winter time, I usually wear sneakers, but during summer, it's flip flops or chinelas.
Nice, good choice. Which a lot of people, other countries would probably smile at or laugh at, even at they say at Americans for wearing shorts. Even the adults wear shorts wherever we go. We wear shorts to the shopping center, to the mall, to whatever. We wear shorts paired with our favorite sneakers, but it's comfy, so why not, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Let's try Rani. Okay, if you're feeling stylish, what is your usual go-to style?
My usual go-to style, Ace, is jeans and t-shirt and flip-flops. I like being comfortable, and jeans and t-shirts are eternal. Back in the 50s, they still like jeans and t-shirts. Today, they still like jeans and t-shirts. So I that's my go-to for being comfortable. But being formal, I like my black suit.
I would agree. What can beat jeans and a shirt? A pair of jeans, even if it's worn out, and a clean white shirt.
Exactly. It's always in style. And it gets you into any kinds of situation. So
That's right. And what's good about that too is that a pair of jeans and a white shirt or a plain shirt, even if you pair it with sneakers, even if you pair it with walking shoes,
dress shoes. Yeah, a nice black dress shoes, brown black shoes. Even those slip-ons. Those are great. Those are great. So it's very what do you call it? You can use it in all kinds of situations. So
Randy, I gotta ask you though, with the jeans, do you iron them?
No, jeans do not need to be ironed.
No. I mean,
in the Philippines they iron them, right?
You should iron them.
Grab it from the dryer.
No.
In the Philippines, I think they iron them.
I also read
and irons it.
people would just in the freezer.
Yes, that's actually the recommended way of keeping them clean, is to freeze them, not to wash them. Yes.
I don't know about with my jeans, with my ice cream. I don't know. Well, let's ask Mayan. Let's say you're running late. What is the fastest outfit for you to put together?
I think just like Rani is, it's you can never go wrong with jeans and shirt. So when running late, when rushing and running errands, I really just put on a casual day. You will see me in either a crew neck or a collared polo shirt and jeans. So on a warmer weather, I sometimes switch the skinny jeans to culottes or the athleisure, a little bit loose pants. But colder weather like fall to winter, it's the shirt and skinny jeans. That's when I'm running late. And actually, even when I'm not. How about you, Ace?
So comfy. It's so comfy, really. Well, jeans or shorts, just like Myla, I would go for shorts and that plain white shirt or gray black shirt. That's it. How about you, Thomas? One piece is a wardrobe staple for you.
It would have to be a polo shirt with a pocket in it, because you see, I like to keep my phone here and a pen here so that if I happen to see something that's newsworthy, I can make some notes. But yeah, polo shirt with a pocket. As far as slacks, it can be dress slacks, work pants, jeans, but I do iron them all. Always iron them. Even iron my polo shirts.
So you iron your jeans, you iron your shirt. What else do you iron? How about your socks? Do you iron your socks?
No, the socks I don't have to iron, Do iron my pillowcases though.
Oh yeah, that I understand. Speaking of ironing or pressing shirts and jeans and socks and whatever, I'd like to do a shout out to my mom, because whenever ever since she would iron everything for us, socks, underwear, shirt.
You're kidding me.
That's true. I'll say hi, mom.
Hi, Mom.
No, it just looks so much.
Can I adopt your mom?
Looks so much better. And
I want your mom.
my late mother used to iron everything as well, but I was taught to do a couple of things before I left home at the age of 17. I had to know how to cook, and I had to know how to do my own laundry and iron my clothes, because those things are very expensive if you hire other people to do that. And you know, at 17, when you're going to university, you don't have a whole lot of money.
That is true. That's
so
true.
I thank my mother for insisting I learn those skills.
Mm-hmm. I admire that. I think I really admire, maybe Milo would agree too, like, you know, the males who could do the ironing themselves. Right? It's very rare.
That's me. That's me. My wife shoves all the laundry to me to be ironed.
Shout out to my husband. Yes, he does the ironing. I do the washing, and he does the ironing.
Oh, wow.
I kind of do them both now because my wife works outside and I don't. I'm working out of home, so I can do these things better. Besides which, when you iron your clothes, it's the time you can watch TV.
Ironing your clothes.
That's multitasking.
That's right. I agree. But Thomas, that's why I stopped watching Korean drama, because it's hard to iron or fold clothes.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
You have to
you get the subtitles.
Yes, Milo, you can't multitask with Korean drama.
It's hard. Yes,
you have to focus.
Okay,
It only works with English television. If it's Filipino television, again, I got the subtitle problem. And you end up ironing your fingers or something.
A fashion you're a fan of. What a fashion icon that influenced your style, your day-to-day wear. Okay, Mayan, who's your fashion icon?
Ace, I know that I just told everyone that I like to wear jeans and just a t-shirt, but my fashion icon really is Kate Middleton. Like every time I'm like going into a formal event or something that I'm like, you know, can't decide what to wear, I search her on Pinterest and I really try to, of course we can't afford the royalties wardrobe, right? So we just try to like imitate, you know, the style. So I love her style.
Royal. How about you, Myla?
I actually don't have a fashion icon. I'm thinking right now, and I don't. I just you know, if I see clothing that I feel, I used to be like, you know, if something is cute and flattering, I want to wear that. But now that, you know, I'm getting older, it's just anything that's comfortable. As long as it's not itchy, and I don't care about color. As long as it's comfortable, I'm good with that.
Anything comfy. That's right. Mm-hmm. How about you, Tom?
I can't say I've got a fashion icon. I like to dress for the occasion. So if I'm at a formal event, I like to look like people that are well dressed at a formal event.
James Bond.
Yeah.
James Amarani.
Well, jeans and t-shirts, you know, you gotta think of the Fonz, and so because he's the Fonz, he's you know, James Dean.
That's right, James Dean.
At least you were cool. At least you.
Yes.
I've never been accused of being cool, and I can't understand
How about
why.
Ace?
I don't know. I really don't look into or look up to any fashion icon. It's just whatever's comfy, and most of the time, jeans and flip-flops or sneakers and the white shirt, the plain shirt, that's what's comfy for me. Well, it's different when we're talking about a formal setting, but whatever I'm happy with, I feel comfy with, and feels good. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
You are your own fashion icon.
That's right. It's a statement, everyone, right?
And
Well,
it suits you. It
thank
suits you.
much for sharing your OOT or outfit of the day. And before we end our show, we remember to thank our frontline workers, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. That is today's Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. Thank you for joining us. We live in interesting times.
Start up your weekday mornings with edutainment, news and information kasama ang inyong paboritong Net25 shows. Samahan ang inyong paboritong morning barkada sa Pambansang Almusal at 5 a.m. Tatalakayin mga pangunahing balita sa pagtutulungan ng Radyo Agila at Net25. Samahan si Weng de la Fuente sa Balitalakayan, 7 a.m.